Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the official Week 1 Power Rankings. Host here, Joey Bowser. Co-host today, Mark Conway. We're ready to get this shit fucking started. Hope everybody enjoyed Week 1. I know I did. Alright, let's start with our number 10 this week. We have RJ, who is also
the dumbass of the week.
You drafted the entire Broncos offense, and they looked terrible. Your first round pick, C.J. Anderson, got you 3 points. Your second round pick, Peyton Manning, got you 6 points. And then your tight end play this week was Allen Daniels. You got a goose egg.
So a total of 9 points. I'm pretty sure your kicker scored more than that.
Your kicker almost scored probably more than your entire team. You really need to help Manning picks up his shit, because you don't even have a backup QB. So if he keeps playing like that, you're going to be in trouble. You have no real depth. We looked at your bench before we started the video. Your bench is terrible.
Yeah, you should probably hop on the waivers now.
Yeah, probably now. If you don't make any waiver wires this week, when you have the number 1 claim,
that's if you even watch the video.
If you watch the video. Started Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah, great. Cleveland's offense looks wonderful.
Looks wonderful.
Whole 10 points for the whole team.
Not good. And I thought Manziel playing would help Crowell. I was wrong. Didn't help that running game at all. You also had to start Marquise Colston in your flex. He's pretty old. He's pretty old. I would not trust him as a starter. But
3 receptions for 29 yards.
That's not somebody you want to play in your flex. The one thing I'll give you, though, RJ, is you do have strong start wideouts.
And your only downfall was you didn't play Danny Woodhead. Not like it would have made you win, but...
Always play the white guy.
Would have been 18 more points than you had.
Play the white guys. You would have had Jordan Matthews with 12, and you had Danny Woodhead with 20. Play your white guys.
All right, so on to number 9.
We have our biggest faller in the rankings.
Justin Bowser.
Previously at number 1, has fallen the whole way down to 9th after just a terrible Week 1.
Now, we understand that he did have 6 more points than me, but Justin's problem is his depth problem. He has nothing sitting on his bench that can really help his team. I mean, his bench total was...
not a lot.
Terrible?
Terrible.
Brandon Marshall
was
12 points sitting on your bench, but other than that, your highest score on your bench was 3 points.
Yeah. You played Eli Manning, who you took as your starting QB. You put a lot of faith in him.
Adrian Peterson, first overall, 5 points.
5 points.
Kind of kills it.
Melvin Gordon is losing all red zone touches to Danny Woodhead, which is not going to bode well.
51 yards and a fumble. That fumble doesn't help his starting position.
No. Danny Woodhead looked really good. I would start to worry about Melvin Gordon. T.Y. Hilton got hurt. That's going to hurt you in case he misses a week or two. Because, you can play Brandon Marshall, but it's not pretty. You also, just like RJ, need the Broncos offense to pick up. Because otherwise your pick of DT is going to be useless.
And now with T.Y. Hilton out, that game just doesn't help your cause.
Yeah. So I want you to know, Justin, the main reason you're number 9 is because I wish I played you next week because I'm not scared of your team. Actually, I don't wish I played you because I play RJ, so it's like my taco buy. Taco buy. All right. Now we're going to move on to number 8, our boy Mark Conway.
That'd be me.
You have strong hope for your future, I'll say that. Andrew Luck can't play that bad every week. He was against Buffalo.
He still had 20 points.
Yeah, he still did, but a lot of that's in garbage time.
And 2 interceptions really doesn't help his cause.
No, but a lot of that fell on his wideouts.
But Eddie Lacy did get a late touchdown.
Eddie Lacy had that late touchdown, which was good for you.
Frank Gore sucked.
Yeah, your old guys are iffy.
Well, the whole entire Indianapolis defense or offense that I have on my team. Adam Vinatieri was 0. Lovely, thank you very much.
0.
Andrew Luck. 20 points.
20. And Gore getting hurt didn't help. His old age had to catch up. Megatron looked iffy. That whole Detroit Lions offense looked pretty bad.
Well, but on the plus side, Bishop Sankey scored 20 points on my bench.
Yeah,
Percy Harvin with 16 and John Brown with 10. So
yeah, you definitely had some nice surprises on your bench, which I think could help you for the future. So I would look at that as your positive, which is what puts you a step above Justin in this week's rankings. All right, moving on to number 7, we got Eric Gresco, Jamal in that ass. Keenan Allen, I talk nothing but shit on him. before the season started. And what did he end up with?
18 points.
18 points from Keenan Allen. So that's on me.
And Jason Witten, 2 touchdowns. That looks very good.
2
very
touchdowns.
Good.
Looks good.
I mean, with Dez out, definitely look more toward Jason Witten.
Yeah, well, you waited on tight end, you grabbed Witten, and it was like, but 2 tight ends week 1, now Dez out for maybe 12 weeks. That's going to help you a lot. But your running backs in DeMarco Murray, not Jamal Charles, obviously, but DeMarco Murray's got a lot to prove. Like, yes, he scored 13 points, which looks really good, but he had 2 touchdowns.
And only 9 yards.
So he scored 1 point with yardage. I mean, if he does that again and only gets 1 touchdown, you just got 7 points from your RB2. That's not what you want.
But if he's going to vulture some touchdowns, why not keep him? Why not keep him? I mean,
it's true. The thing I don't like about your team is you have no real flex option.
Yeah, Chris Johnson really did.
Charles Johnson,
that's my bad.
Teddy didn't look great. CJ Spiller coming back could help. I don't know. Ingram was catching the ball like a fucking tank, so maybe CJ won't even have the role we thought.
Maybe looking at Phillip Rivers as a starter next week instead of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, well, Wilson was playing the Rams. We'll at least give him a bogey on that one. I mean, they got one of the best defenses.
But Phillip Rivers and the whole San Diego offense is looking pretty
fantastic. Look pretty good. Stevie Johnson and Keenan Allen. Plus, then you get your little quarterback wideout combo. I always like starting that. All right.
So we'll move on to number 6.
Number 6
would be Holby.
Travis Holby. Ellington got hurt, and they're saying only 3 to 4 weeks, but this is the problem with Andre Ellington. He's just too small to be a featured back. If he's healthy come playoff time, though, that's a great running back to start. Alfred Morris looked great. He ended up with like 130 yards. He looked really good.
Marshawn Lynch still solid running back. Randall Cobb.
You'd hope to get more out of Cobb with Jordy Nelson.
Got a decent bit of targets, just didn't rake in anything. I mean, that touchdown was nice in the corner of the end zone, which if they get red zone looks, that's who Aaron Rodgers is looking for.
I also think that they game plan to stop Cobb. James Jones got 2 TDs on them. I think people are going to realize now, wow, we can't just try to shut down Cobb. So I think that'll open up
They've got some serious threats.
Yeah.
Especially with Aaron Rodgers throwing anyone the ball in that offense.
Yeah. You took Allen Robinson as your wideout, too, who I actually thought would have a really good season this year. But Blake Bortles looked mediocre, and I don't know if you can trust him as a wideout, too, all year. And your flex, I mean, you might start playing Fitz.
I mean, he's at least getting targets. I mean,
Nelson Aguilar is one who was on everybody's radar in the preseason. He didn't even register a point. So you're going to really need just to have one of those wideouts step up soon, or you will be in trouble. All right. Number 5, we have our first 0-1 team to be in the top 5. It's Skylar Eckenrand. Yeah, I only dropped you a couple spots. You did lose to me. It was a number 3 last week, so.
I mean, you only lost by 49 points.
I mean, only 49
That's not
points.
Terrible. It could have been worse. I lost by 52.
He lost by 52. RJ put up 57 points. Think about that. It's a terrifying thing to think about.
But Drew Brees looked great, actually. I thought
Drew Brees looked really good. Mark Ingram didn't run well.
I don't see Jonathan Stewart as a starting running back ever.
I don't know about it. Jonathan Stewart's going to be one of them guys. If he doesn't get a TD, you're not going to be happy with starting him. And you got Antonio Brown, who's always going to be fantastic. I mean, always. It just doesn't matter.
And then
Beckham. Let's take a moment and talk about Beckham. Beckham he was fantastic last year. Everybody loved watching this kid play. It was exciting. Comes out in this Dallas game, fucking gets smashed. He never looked the same the rest of that game. He looked rattled.
Well, I mean, you catch a ball high across the middle.
You take
what do you expect?
I just don't think OBJ is ready to deal with how people are going to play him.
Well, him as an out route or a fade looks actually wonderful. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the moves for it, but you put him across the middle, I don't think he's got the gall for that.
If they're going to take the deep ball away from Odell Beckham Jr., he's done. He can't play against some physical corners unless he ups his game to what it's not now. Greg Olsen, you drafted pretty high to get that third tight end.
And for that wonderful 1 point.
For that wonderful 1 point. The Panthers' offense looks bad, and that's not good for Greg Olsen because they're going to continue to try and stop Greg Olsen.
But St. Louis's defense didn't look terrible besides
now you got the Rams' defense.
The 31 points against.
I mean, they played Seattle, so you at least got a break there. You probably have a defense for the rest of the year. Randall's one who I think you could actually start this week now. He obviously beat out Darren McFadden.
He looks like the dominant runner in Dallas.
Yeah, I would say you now have Randall, which is also another reason why you're so high. You have a backup running back. With what Kendall Wright did,
might have to put him as a starter. I mean Tennessee's offense looked great.
They look really good. I mean, it could still be a fluke, but they did look really good. So that one's a little iffy. Brandon Bolden, you probably drop him. That's all I got left for you, Scather. We're going to go ahead and move on. Number 4, we got Jeffrey.
Jeff's team looked pretty good. I mean, with Roethlisberger as your number one QB,
you're solid at Big Ben.
And Gronk, I mean, great pickup. I mean, you picked him pretty early, but
second round pick with Gronk, but it looks like it could.
It looks like it's going to pay off. I mean, it's
the scariest part about your team, Jeff, are your running backs.
Yeah, Shady still has a lot to prove. In Buffalo, I mean, they were throwing the ball a lot, and him sharing carries just definitely doesn't help. Justin Forsett, he's not Ray Rice. I'm sorry, he's not.
He played Denver. I mean, we have a fucking astounding defense, so maybe that's all it was, but it definitely wasn't an encouraging game. Same with Emmanuel Sanders in the same game. Total defensive thing. You don't know what you're going to get from Sanders. Jeremy Macklin's another one. Still no Kansas City Chiefs have caught a touchdown. If that continues throughout this year, Macklin's going to be nothing more than a flex.
Might have to be looking at, actually starting James Jones.
You might want to start James Jones.
I mean, with Randall Cobb and James Jones, they really have to either key on one of them. So
that was a good pickup with James Jones. I'll give you that, Jeff. I think he will catch a decent amount of touchdowns this year.
It's just sad he ended up on your bench this week.
The problem is that if he doesn't catch a touchdown, he might end up with 2 receptions for 30 yards.
And you can't rely on Gronk every week.
You can't rely on Gronk. Literally 3 players won you this week. Big Ben.
And one of them was your defense.
And your defense. But I would like to say this is the highest Jeff has ever been in the power rankings.
Good work, Jeff.
Last year, he never got out of the bottom 5. So, congratulations for your first time in the top 5.
All right, so we hate to do this, but
nah, we really hate to do this. Like
Jed,
welcome to the number 3 spot.
I'm not sorry for giving you shit, but you do deserve to be number 3. Joey was definitely putting you a lot lower on this list, but
fuck off, I had him 4th.
But I will give you some credit. I mean, you did score 120 points this week. I mean, Carlos Hyde, he can't do that every week, but 31 points is a great turnout for that pick.
On this pace, you'll have the number 1 running back in the league.
I'm actually quite impressed. And Travis Kelce, 25 points.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Huge. You have a starting tight end all year.
I mean, with Kansas City's offense looking actually good.
Yeah,
for
actually
once.
really good. They were clicking.
I don't know what happened there. Last year they looked like ass all season. Des Bryant, I'm sorry, that sucks. Yeah. You just lost one of your best wideouts.
You hear articles that are like 4 to 6 weeks, and then you hear like 6 to 8 weeks, and then you hear like 8 to 12 weeks. This is the same injury that Marvin Jones had last year. He ended up missing the whole season. Kevin Durant had this injury in the NBA. He missed the whole season. It's a weird injury. We don't know what's going to happen.
I think you might have to look at, maybe picking up a wideout because
Deshaun also is out 3 to 4 weeks. So your top 2 drafted wideouts are out for an extended period of time.
So you might need to look at some wideouts.
I don't think you want to start Golden Tate and Pierre Garçon.
Because your bench blows.
It is bad.
It is terrible. Ryan Tannehill had 13 points, which you picked really high for some reason.
Yeah, I bet you if you look at the wideouts that were drafted when he took Ryan Tannehill, he could have a really good wideout too.
Hey, you could have a number 3. He might even be able to use him in a flex, and then
Have a really solid team.
Not have Golden Tate, Deshaun Jackson and Dez Bryant.
Combined, they scored 6 points.
Wonderful. Hey, good work. I'm pretty sure you drafted him in the first 10 rounds.
Yeah, I believe so.
All 3 of them.
But you're lucky you had Hyde, you had Ryan, you had Jeremy Hill. You might have the best running back core in the league. I'll give you that. You probably do.
Let's just hope your wide receiver thing turns around.
Yeah, you really need your wideout thing to turn around.
Because Carlos Hyde's not going to do 31 points a week.
And if you start going on a down spiral, getting Dez back in 12 weeks will only save you from getting the Sacco. All right, moving to our number 2.
Which would be Zachary Clark. I hate you.
This is as rough as putting Jed third. This is a terrible year, guys. Zach's second, Jed's third. That's just terrible.
Jeff's fourth.
Jeff's fourth.
What are we doing? Come on, guys.
I mean, come
Like
on.
black people, faggots, and
black people,
cripples.
faggots, cripples.
Why? I won't say that I'm letting anybody win here, but
Zach, like half your team is suspended, and you still managed to score 100.
And not only that, but
literally like half your team is suspended.
Like your entire bench. I mean, who else did you have to play? You didn't have anybody else on your team.
You really knew you were making the right decisions.
You had to play who you had to play. You had no choice on who to play. Nope. I mean, Tony Romo
saved your ass
over Sam Bradford, but really, who wouldn't play Tony Romo? I mean, I wouldn't have drafted Tony Romo, but
he really saved your ass. You're lucky the Giants don't know top clock management because he should not even have had that last touchdown.
And DeAndre Hopkins and Carolina's defense for some reason just tore shit up.
The problem is one of your bright spots this week was D'Angelo Williams, which is good for another week, and then you'll get Le'Veon Bell back. So, I mean, I just don't know if it's as big of an upgrade as we thought it would be originally with the way D-Will's running.
D-Will did fantastic.
So
he might even split carries.
I mean, it's Bell. It's hard to say. But you're starting Blount now as well. You'll have LeGarrette Blount back this week. But with the way Dion Lewis played, you know they're going to use him in that offense. But he should be the goal line back. But isn't Gronk essentially the goal line back? I don't know. Your running back situation is still a little iffy. But I think with Le'Veon Bell back and the way the rest of your team's playing, Amir Abdullah looked really good. Hopefully they keep giving him the ball.
DeAndre Hopkins, fantastic. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 98 yards. And he got a boatload of targets. So, exactly. I mean, you're looking at a great wide out there.
AJ Green only put up 6 this week, but they were up by like 30 by halftime, so I'm sure they just weren't risking him.
But if they ever run into a tougher defense, I mean, you're definitely looking at more airtime.
Yeah, so I think you'd see AJ improve as well. I definitely think you have a solid team, and once you get Le'Veon Bell back, it's only going to be better. All right, and then our number 1.
Joseph Bowser. Now, Joey, I give you credit. 141 points looks fantastic.
Looks pretty fucking good.
But let's just say you lucked out.
Bullshit.
Come on, Tom Brady.
Bullshit.
Tom Brady, you drafted when he was on a suspension. He plays his first game, gets 30 points. You drafted him late. You just got lucky. I'm sorry.
Him getting unsuspended, I'll admit that was
without that 31 points without the 30 points, you're looking at what?
13
from Cam Newton.
Still would have won.
Just wouldn't have looked as fantastic. I mean, you would have had a good 120 points.
120. Still good. Not quite as good as I'd like, but I got Brady back now.
And I mean, Julio Jones,
probably the best wideout in football.
I mean, that combination looks great. But Lamar Miller.
Lamar Miller was weird. They just weren't giving him carries. I hope this isn't a glimpse of the future, because otherwise that's really going to hurt me. He's a great runner, but he needs opportunity.
Heath Miller got some good targets.
Yeah, Heath Miller got me 8 points. My tight end situation's probably going to change week in, week out. I'll probably be playing different ones. Delaney, I should have played Delaney Walker, but he has a cast on his hand now, so I might be a question mark at tight end again.
I mean, on the plus side, you do have, Tevin Coleman.
Who
actually ran the ball quite well. I thought.
Actually, much better than I was expecting for his first week.
Jarvis Landry, who was on your bench.
Yeah, well.
That kind of sucks, but...
Stuck with Cooper, who hopefully Cooper looks better with Derek Carr back. But I'm pretty happy my number one spot with my 140 points.
That looks pretty nice.
Enjoy that.
That looks nice.
I almost benched Julio Jones just so I get an earlier waiver claim, but then I was like, I want to put myself first in the power rankings.
Well, it was a good choice.
I liked it. Good choice. Me too. I got 28 points.
And I mean, you absolutely crushed Kyler. So
I did get to crush Skyler. That was fun.
That's a little bit of bragging rights. I think.
I enjoyed that. He's not here to co-host, so I can't make fun of him. But fuck you, Skyler. I'm glad I got to kick your ass this week. That's all we got, guys.
And we kept it pretty close to 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
You are very welcome.
Everybody, make sure you watch this. Lots of views. Peace, bitches.
Bye-bye. Bastard.
You still haven't hit stop.